All right. Hello, you guys. Thanks for jumping on. I will make this short and sweet if I can. I wanted to talk tonight about messaging. So, for those of you that are in our back to basics accountability chat, that is what we're focusing on is messaging, and it's messaging people about the business primarily. And that is right now, what I would encourage you to be reaching out about is about the opportunity. And it's funny, I actually saved this email. I just got an email from Eric Worre. He is huge in our space. And he said, we're facing a crisis in our profession. It's not what you think. It's not because we're being labeled as a pyramid thing, not because of the economy, not because your team isn't motivated. It's because conversations with prospects are at an all-time low. And I was like, wow. Um, so anyway, that's what he was saying. And I mean, he's right. Like that is you've got to have, and even Ashley talked about that today in Mentorship Monday, is that when you don't present the opportunity in front of someone, they may not even know you have an opportunity. So it's super important that we try to get the opportunity in front of as many people as we can by either, making a bold post or, um, you know, going through your list and messaging people. And so what I want to talk about tonight is where can you find those people to message? Let me bring up my notes here that I had. And then also staying organized, because let me tell you, organization is a huge part of this. And then also being unsure of what to say. So let me pull my calendar here. And I haven't been really diligent about keeping it, transferring it in here, but I need to do that soon. So let's start with, how do you figure out who you're going to message? For me, I like to go to my posts that I make about either the product or the business. And if I've made a post like that, or even like stories. So, if you're popping things in your story about the new gold, or maybe the compensation plan, or maybe you got paid today and you put this little thing in your story, you can see who viewed your stories. So that is where I like to start. I like to start there, is to see who is engaging with my posts, either commenting. Maybe they just said like, that's awesome. They didn't ask for information, but they commented on it or they engaged with the post. That's where I like to start. So what I do is, I've got this, and I think this is in the boards app. I've got this master names list, and it's called the memory jogger. And you can use the memory jogger. So it's got like, people that you can think of. It helps jog your memory, different states, different businesses that they're in, all these things. And then I use that to make my list. And I think there's 100 spots here. I have not filled up the whole 100. I've almost gotten to 100, but I still like a little bit there. So that's where this is like my master list that I have. Um, and again, this is just an idea of how you can do it. You don't have to do it this way. It's just a way that I like to do it. And then I've got my handy dandy notebook here. And I have this is how OCD anal I am. I don't know, but I've got things tabbed over here so that I can find it real quick. So I've got my reach outs. Okay. My reach outs are like, you can't really see that, but in pencil, I have who I reached out to. And then, so it's by the date. So like this day on the 24th of July, I reached out to like 12 people. That was a great day. On the 14th of July, I reached out to about 10. But then I flip over to the 22nd of July, and I think that was I can't remember what day that was, but I only reached out to 3 people. So like, I really like doing that because I can gauge myself on, okay, well, I really need to be like sending more messages, right? So I put an A next to their name after I've asked them. A is for ask. And I'll tell you this too, it helps to make your list the night before. So like tonight, I'll go through my Facebook and I'll see anybody who has liked or engaged or whatever on, a reel or anything or my stories. Like I'll go see who's flipped through the stories and I'll write their names down. So that is something that I encourage you to do is write your list down before you go to bed. That way tomorrow, all you got to do is check off. So I've got like okay, I've asked them. And then if they don't have anything beside their name, that means that they ghosted me, did not write me back, or just flat out like read my message and just whatever. If I wrote something like, so I'll say, like sent info, said no, like I'll just write notes beside it. Okay. That way I kind of know what happened in our conversation. So the people that said that they wanted information, I put them on this this leads to follow up with list. And this is in the boards app as well. And I put them on here and I write business or product. So like if they've reached out to me, it's usually about the product. And I'll like follow up with them on a different date. I write down like the follow-up date. So this one right here said no. Okay. She said no. When I followed up with her, she flat out told me, she was like, look, I'm just not into that kind of thing. Like, I know, you're doing great, whatever. I said that, no worries. Like, okay. I tried to overcome her objection, but she said, she just said no. So I said no. So I can like check her off. I will not follow up with her again. So that is a way I like to just keep up with that on here. So and like I said, this is anybody who has accepted my information. This is anybody who has like said to me, yes, I'll take the information, sent the video and whatever. And then you can go back and circle around with them. So that is just kind of like my organization. The next step to that is what Ashley talked about today, and that's the 2x2x2, which I used to be really good at logging my dates in here and I don't anymore, but you can see like here I had it written down on April 22nd. That's like one of my last ones. But I follow up with this girl every 2 weeks, just about it. And then I just keep going and I need to transfer the ones that I would transfer into the planner like this would be like the ones that have accepted your information. That is what I would do there. So I want to talk to you about a script that I've been using some. I don't remember if I put it in the boards app or not. But sometimes when you follow up with people and they don't say anything, or they've just given you the runaround so long, or maybe, I mean, I've sent this to some people who I'm absolutely terrified to reach out to. Let me read what I sent, and I'll put this in the boards app too. So this lady, I'm actually sending samples to try before she signs up for the business. Let me mute real quick. Sorry about that. Anyway, so what I said was, hey, Lauren, happy Sunday. So I know this business I'm in isn't for you, but I wanted to ask, do you know anyone that is ambitious, money motivated, and would be excited about the idea of adding more income into their lives? If not, no big deal, but I at least had to ask. And she wrote me back. It was kind of like putting it in front of her again, but taking it away, like taking that opportunity away. And it's kind of the wow factor that Ashley talks about. She said, no, wait, I am still interested, to be honest. I think I just have been scared. And I'm like, okay. So I messaged her back. I said, it's totally normal to be scared, especially, if you've never done anything. I told her that we had systems in place though, and, you know, told her all the things. And then she asked how much it was to get started, all the, you know, all the rigmarole. And then, she asked me if I could send her a product overview. I did. So, you know, it's just, I followed up with her on, we had a conversation, and then I followed up with her this past Sunday, and she asked me if I could send her some samples to try. So I told her that I would. So I've got those in the mail going out tomorrow. So yeah, you kind of take the opportunity away and like, look, I know this may not be for you, or this isn't for you, but do you know anybody that it could be for? Right. So that's another way to kind of position yourself and posture yourself up when you're talking to people, is like, I know it's not for you. And they're like, wait, but what if it is for me? What if it is for me? You know, so it's kind of like the reverse psychology. And it has worked on several people that I've used it on. But that's one of my ones I like to use a good bit. And, you know, I've sent a lot of messages in the last couple months, and I've gotten ghosted a lot. So I do want to go back like to this list and kind of go back and see who I'm actually sending some samples to. Somebody who was in Plexus. She has no interest at all to ever sell again. And I was like, listen, I said, can I just send you some samples to try? I was like, I know you've never tried Bravenly, but I'll just send you some samples to try, and you at least might like the product for what they do, not to sell it, but just to become, you know, be a customer. Because if you can't get them as a brand partner, your next thing to go down to is a customer, right? So try to get them as a customer if you can't get them as a brand partner. That's always like my fallback, is that. So I'm trying to think what else. Whenever my organization, messaging, following up is huge, because I'm telling you, I have seen it more than one time when people, you follow up with people and you see them joining Bravenly Nation, or you see them being welcomed by somebody else. That's why it's so important to follow up. Even if they don't give you an answer the first time, be like, listen, I was thinking about you. I just wanted to follow up and see if now is maybe the time, because we know that we all go through seasons. We all go through different times. So that is super, super important to make sure that you follow up, because follow up is a huge key to this. And then I'm trying to think if there was anything else. If anybody have any questions, I feel discombobulated because all I can hear is my kid in the background.
I have a question. So you said you put an A by their name when you ask. Do you have, if you've asked once, twice, do you put like ×2, ×3, or?
So that's where I would probably, that's where I would put this. I would move them if you want to. I only move the people usually that ask about the actually I send people to, but, that's a good idea. I'm wondering, because like if I think of a check mark, sometimes I think of like, oh, well, I've talked to them, even though they haven't responded.
Right. But you're following up with another ask and
Right.
a follow-up ask.
But maybe we could do either a check mark or like a little tally mark, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, or, because I list mine out by
Day.
the date. So you could write the date again, and then you could just put another A beside their name.
I like that. I like that. Just putting the date.
Yeah. Yeah. It just helps. I don't know. I just feel like it helps keep everything a little bit more organized, especially because a lot of times I do feel like I do have things all over the place, but because I used to just have lists everywhere, but I was like, no, I need to have one. And that's why I like having this one. And I will write down like, so this master list, I don't know if you can see, it has the date that I wrote, that I like reached out to them. So I know all the ones with a date, I've reached out to them. There's a few up here that don't have a date because those are Billy's friends and I'm not reaching out to him. He needs to reach out back out to them. But there are very few gaps. The gaps I have in here are like scary ones for me to ask, and I just need to do it, and just that way I can just like fill in the gap. Um, so yeah, that's really it on messaging. And I know, and I think I mentioned this in the chat, it feels weird. And I know because I used to feel that way. It feels weird when someone doesn't ask for the information. It feels strange to just reach out and give them, like, ask them, right, to take a look at it. But if we flip that around and we're thinking about it like this, what if they are scared to reach out to us? And I thought about that one day and I thought, what if somebody is scared to approach me about the business or scared of what I'm going to think about them because they reach out, or, anything, any scenario like that. That's why it's important for us to reach out to people so that they know what we've got, and B, you know, what if you don't put this in front of them, somebody else is going to. And that's what I keep trying to like think of. It's like, if I don't talk to someone, if I don't talk to this person about it, somebody else is going to. And then what? I really wanted them on my team, but what if I don't talk to them? So that is something else that's been helping. I know Billy's been doing this when he's been talking to people, is asking them right then, like when he's in a conversation, is what made you want to take a look at this, or what made you interested in this? And it kind of like pulls out their why without them even really noticing that they're telling you why they would want to do this. But if you can get them to tell you why they need to do this, whether they need, money for groceries, or they need help with the car payment or whatever, if you can get them to tell you that right off the gate, then you're going to be able to go back when you go back to them and you say like, hey, remember when you told me that you really could use the money for groceries? Like, how about we go ahead and get you started on this? It's just something to kind of circle back with. So if I've had that conversation with people and I've talked to them about it, I usually will write down like something about our conversation if we've gotten into it that deep. That way I can like remember, okay, they talked to me about groceries or gas or whatever. And then I can go back to that. Um, but that's helped a lot. And then if they're local, so I talked to Ashley Walmer about this. She said that if you're local to that person that you're talking to and you've got them on the reel, right? And you've got them like hooked, and they're like, well, I just don't know, offer and say like, hey, do you have time tomorrow afternoon? Or do you have time, tomorrow to meet me at, I don't know, Panera, or I'm trying to think of somewhere, Starbucks or wherever. And we can just meet and I can like kind of explain this to you in person, because she said that there is an 80% like more of a closing rate in person than there is over the phone, or like chatting on Messenger. And I was like, well, that makes sense, because when I go to jewelry parties or whatever, makeup parties, and they're right there at you and they're like, okay, well, what can we help you with today? What can we get you? You're always more apt to buy something in person. So, at least if they don't want to be a brand partner, get them on as a customer, and at least it's volume. For now, it's like I had talked to her about this lady who said she can't join me until September. And she said, well, how about go ahead and ask her if she can if you can at least get her in the system as a customer. That way it's volume, right, for August. And then when she does decide to join in September, she's already got a product story. She's already got a testimony, and she can lead better and, promote better with that product story. And I was like, that's a great idea. So I've got that on my list to follow up with her about that. So, um, but I think that's really all I have. Does anybody else have anything? Any questions or anything like that? No? Okay. I feel like that was kind of scattered, but hopefully y'all got something from that. So I want to be very respectful of your time. I know school is back in and it's, you know, hectic and, yeah, we're all busy. And so I just want to be really respectful of that. But yeah, I think that's all I have. And don't forget the Holistic Haven event is starting on Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I dropped some graphics in there and, we've got some really cool prizes. So, yeah,
Is that basically for anyone that we want to invite?
yes. So that is
Okay.
for potential customers, like anybody that you want to invite. And yeah, they have a chance to win some prizes. So,
Okay.
and we are going to have some prizes of, I don't know if she's announced it yet, but we're going to have a prize or prizes, based around your customers ordering. So like if you see, and I'll make sure I'll share it whenever the post goes up, but there will be a post that'll say like, if you order today, tomorrow, or it's like Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you're going to be entered in to win this. And I want to say I don't remember what she's doing. I don't want to, I think it might be a Ninja Creamy or something. I don't know. It's a big prize. If they order within those 3 days that they're going to get entered in to win that. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. All right. Well, I will let you guys go and I appreciate y'all hopping on with me. I hope y'all have a great night. Bye, y'all.